Once again, I'm here to connect you all through online classes. In the previous video, I have given you about control and coordination. Now this video, I'm going to start the next part of the lesson. Before I start the lesson, I want to give you some tips how to avoid distraction from your studies, children. How to avoid distraction while you're studying. So what are the things you should keep away while studying? The first thing is do not talk on phone while studying. Okay, children, do not talk on phone while studying. Second one, turn the television off while you are studying. Always you should concentrate on your studies, children. So turn off the television while you are studying. Third one, eat a healthy snack before studying. So you need to have some energy before you sit for studies. So eat a healthy snack before studying. And next one is keep a clean and organized area around you, children. Always your surroundings should be very clean. Where you sit for studies, the surroundings should be very clean and calm so that your mind will not be distracted. And the last one is gather all the materials you are going to need before you begin your studies. Keep all your things, study materials ready and start studying, children. I hope these tips will really help you to avoid distraction from your studies and then help you to concentrate on your studies. Now in this video, I'm going to explain you coordination in living organisms, children, receptors and types of receptors, control and coordination in humans, then human nervous system you're going to learn, then structure of neuron with the late label diagram, then classification of nervous system, reflex arc and reflex action. Coordination in animals, children. So coordination in animals is brought about by a system made up of nerve cells called nervous system. So how is coordination brought about in animals? Coordination in animals is brought about by a system made up of nerve cells called nervous system. So the nervous system plays a very important role to bring about control and coordination. Not only nervous system, children, even endocrine system also plays a very important role. In endocrine system, it is the hormones which help to bring about control and coordination. In the nervous system, so what are the structures which brings about control and coordination in nervous system? It is the nerve cells, children, it is the neuron, and it is the brain and spinal cord. All these together bring about control and coordination, that is nervous system and endocrine system. These two systems go together in order to bring about control and coordination in the organism. But what about in lower organism like simple multicellular animals like Hydra? The coordination takes place through nervous system. Here also we can see coordination takes place through nervous system. So for example, in Hydra, I told you, children, the whole body has got nerve cells, and these nerve cells are joined one another and spread throughout the body and bring about control and coordination. So in Hydra, the nervous system consists of a network of nerve cells. So these nerve cells are joined one cell to the other cell, and spread throughout the body to bring about control and coordination. In higher animals, we can see the sense organs bring about control and coordination, children. What are the sense organs? They are eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. Okay, these receive variety of information from the surroundings and help in bringing about control and coordination. So these sense organs help in control and coordination with the help of receptors. So receptors play a very important role to bring about control and coordination. So especially the sense organs have receptors. So what are receptors? Receptors are a group of cells or tissues or organs which receive stimulus from the surrounding environment. They help in receiving the stimulus, children. So as you all know, in the previous video I have told you what is stimulus. Stimulus is nothing but the reaction or respond of the organism to the surrounding environment, we can say. So the receptors are the group of cells which receive stimulus from the surrounding environment, and after that they send the message to the spinal cord and brain. How? In the form of electrical impulses. So what are receptors? Receptors are the group of cells which receive the stimulus, and then they send the message to the brain and spinal cord in the form of electrical impulses. So the question is, what are impulses? Impulses are self-propagated electric current, children. They are the self-propagated electric current that travels from one end to another end of a neuron for the passage of message. So impulses are nothing but they are the propagated electrical current that travels from one end of the neuron to the other end to bring about pass the message, you can say. So receptors are nothing but they are the cells which receive the stimulus, children. Now we have the next set of cells or organs or tissues we call effectors. So what is the function of these effectors is these effectors transmit the response from the brain and spinal cord. They transmit the message. Now receptors pass on the information or the electrical impulses to effectors, okay, and effectors transmit the response from brain and spinal cord, okay, from brain and spinal cord. So these receptors are nothing but muscles and glands. They are the parts of the body which can respond to the stimulus according to the instructions sent from the nervous system. So these receptors and effectors play a very important role in bringing about control and coordination. Receptors receive the stimulus and effectors bring about the action. You all understood, children? Receptors receive the stimulus and effectors bring about the action. I told you, children, what are receptors? Receptors which receive the stimulus and effectors which brings about action. Now what about types of receptors, children? We have sense organs have receptors which receive the stimulus. So these receptors are in the eyes. What are the receptors? They are photoreceptors. These photoreceptors help to detect light. So in the eye we can see these photoreceptors. We have rods and cones which help in detecting the light. And in the ear it is the phonoreceptors to detect the sound. So the phonoreceptors are found in the innermost part of the ear, and that is also we can see the cochlea plays a very important role. So in the cochlea we find fine hairs, and these are helpful in receiving the stimulus and send it to the brain for interpretation. So those are phonoreceptors, and in the ear the sound detecting cells are called phonoreceptors, and in the nose it is the olfactory receptors. So these olfactory receptors are found in the nose, okay, upper part of the nose, that is epithelium. In the upper part of the epithelium has olfactory receptors to detect the smell. And tongue we find on the tongue we find taste buds. So inside the taste buds we can see this gustatory receptors to detect the taste. And skin, throughout the skin we can find thermoreceptors to detect heat and cold, children. So eyes photoreceptors, ear phonoreceptors, nose olfactory receptors, tongue gustatory receptors, skin thermoreceptors. Now we can see the structure of neuron, children, which is very important for your board exam. They'll ask you draw a neat label diagram to show the structure of neuron. So first we'll see what is a neuron. Neuron is a structural functional unit of a nervous system, neuron or a nerve cell. So the I told you receptors. How these receptors will receive the stimulus and pass on the information? It is through the nerve cell. You have to remember. So neuron or a nerve cell is a structural and functional unit of nervous system. And what is the function of this neuron is it is specialized to receive, conduct and transmit the impulses. It helps in receiving, it helps in conducting from one neuron to the other neuron, and also transmit the impulses. So that is a function of neuron. So here I told you it helps in transmitting the impulses. Here impulse is a self-propagating electric current, children, that runs along the surface of the nerve fiber for passage of information. So we can see the structure of neuron here, children, and the neuron is not having centrioles. Here you can see the first part of the neuron is called cell body or cyton, which doesn't have centrioles here. It has got a nucleus and it is having a cytoplasm inside the cyton is called neuroplasm, we can say, and then it has got thin hair-like structures extending out. They are called dendrites, and one of the dendrite is extended out as axon, and this axon has got a myelin sheath, protective covering called myelin sheath, and at the end of the neuron you can see telodendrites which connects to the next neuron. So this is the structure of neuron, children. So what is the function of the dendrites? These are called dendrites. These dendrites help in receiving the messages from the sense organ or impulses from the sense organ and pass on to the cell body. So they receive the impulses from all the sense organs to the cell body. From the cell body, it is carried out to the axon. So axon will carry away the impulses from the cyton to the next neuron. And here we can see telodendrite here, which is helpful to connect the next neuron. So between one neuron and other neuron there is a small gap. We call this gap as synapse. We call it as synapse. Synapse is a small gap between one neuron and other neuron, or it is the connective bridge between one neuron and other neuron. And how are the impulses carried from one neuron to the other neuron? Between one neuron and other neuron, there is a chemical substance. Those are called neurotransmitters. So these neurotransmitter molecules help in carrying the impulse from one neuron to the other neuron. You all understood, children? So this is the structure of neuron. Cell body, which has got dendrites, and this one of the dendrite is extended out as axon, and it has covered with the myelin sheath, and then telodendrites. And in between you find, in the cytoplasm, you find round bodies called Nissl granules. Nissl granules, which are made up of ribosomes. Ribosomes helps in protein formation or protein synthesis. Okay, children. Now we can see there are three types of neurons. So sensory neurons, motor neurons, and mixed neurons. Sensory neurons are the neurons which carry impulses from sense organs to spinal cord and brain. CNS, central nervous system, includes spinal cord and brain. So sensory neurons carry impulses from all the sense organs to the brain and spinal cord. Motor neurons carry impulses from the spinal cord and brain to the muscles to bring about action. So once the message is carried or impulse is carried to the brain or spinal cord, it is carried to the muscles. That work is done with the help of motor neurons. And mixed neurons are also called relay neurons, which connect between sensory and motor. They connect between sensory neurons and motor neurons. Okay, children. Actually, how is the passage of the stimulus is? First is the information, whatever from the sense organs, or pain or prick or any stimulus, is carried by the dendrites to the dendrites. So here to the dendrites, from the dendrites to the cell body, from the cell body to the axon, and from the axon to the axonal terminal, that is called telodendrites, and then to the next neuron. Passage of stimulus to the next neuron. We have types of neuron actions. Now we learned how the neuron actually carries the impulse or message from one part of it to the other part. That is called impulse. Now how these impulses are carried out and what type of actions are brought about by this nervous system. We have three types of actions, children: reflex action, involuntary action, voluntary actions. So three types of actions takes place, that is reflex actions, involuntary actions, and voluntary actions. Reflex actions and involuntary actions are without our will. These actions are brought about without our will. Without our will and wish, these actions takes place. And voluntary actions, as you know, is according to our will. Now this reflex action, what is reflex action? Reflex action is the automatic or involuntary or immediate or spontaneous response to an external stimuli. So it is the automatic, involuntary, immediate, without knowing, we bring about these actions. These are called as reflex actions, children. Reflex actions are brought about, for example, you can take, if you unknowingly touch a hot plate, immediately we withdraw our hand. Immediately we withdraw. Okay, such type of action is called as reflex action. Second one, when we step on a pointed or sharp object, immediately we take a foot back. This is also reflex action, which is done involuntarily. And coughing, yawning, blinking of eyes, sneezing, all these are reflex actions. And you have to remember, children, reflex action are the actions which we do without thinking to protect ourselves. These are done without thinking. Without thinking we do in order to protect ourselves. For example, we cough. Coughing is a reflex action which clears a windpipe, So this is done without our thinking, but it helps in removing the clearing a windpipe. And also the pupil of our eye gets smaller in a bright light. This reflection action protects the retina of our eyes from damage due to too much of light. So what happens is the pupil of eye get smaller in bright light. This is a reflex action where the retina of our eyes from the it protects the retina of our eyes from the damage due to too much of light. And also the pupil of our eye get bigger in dim light so as to help us see properly even in dim light. So all these are reflex action which are really done without our thinking to protect ourselves. Now we shall see what is reflex arc, children. You understood what is reflex action? Reflex action is the automatic or sudden immediate response to an external stimuli where without our knowledge we do these actions in order to protect ourselves. Such actions only we call reflex action. What is reflex arc now? Now we can see, for example, if you take, this is a spinal cord, okay, and the spinal cord is the center of reflex action, children. What is the center of reflex action? It is the spinal cord. Now if you keep your hand in a hot object or on a thorny object, what happens? Immediately the skin is a sense organ which has receptors, sensory receptors. Now the skin will immediately take the stimulus, and pass on it to the sensory neurons, and sensory neuron carries it to the spinal cord. So in the spinal cord, the impulse, the message is carried to the relay neurons, and they will convert the impulse to message, and that is carried by the motor neurons, and motor neurons will carry to the effectors. So effectors, I told you, which brings about action. They are the organs which brings about action. The motor neuron carry it to the effectors or the muscles in the arm, and response takes place. You all understood, children? So this pathway, we can see the pathway, that is the receptors, sensory receptors are carrying it to sensory neuron to the spinal cord, from the spinal cord to the motor neurons, from the motor neurons to the effectors. So there is a pathway. The pathway of nerve impulses involved in reflex action is called reflex arc, children. So what is reflex arc? The pathway of nerve impulses involved in reflex action is called reflex arc. So here receptors, first is the receptors. Receptors carry it to the sensory neurons, sensory neuron to the spinal cord to the motor neurons to the effectors, and brings about response. See, once again I'll tell you, children. So once our skin or any sense organs, okay, touch any stimulus, so any stimulus, the receptors carry the impulse or message through the sensory neuron, from the sensory neuron to the spinal cord, from the spinal cord to the relay neurons or the mixed neurons will pass on the message. Once it goes to the spinal cord, it is converted into the electrical signals are converted into impulses, and those impulses are nothing but they are the electrical current which moves from one end of the neuron to the other end. Okay, so from the spinal cord it comes to the relay neurons, from the relay neurons again it is carried to the motor neurons, and motor neurons to the effectors, and effectors will bring about action. So this pathway of nerve impulses involved in reflex action, we call it as reflex arc. Once again I'll tell you, children, very important for your exam. So the pathway, see, you can see the arrow mark. The pathway of nerve impulses involved in reflex action is called reflex arc. From receptors to the sensory neurons, from the sensory neurons to the spinal cord, from the spinal cord to the relay neurons or mixed neurons, from the mixed neurons to the motor neurons, from the motor to the effectors, and effectors will bring about action. We'll see the last part of this video, children, classification, human nervous system classification. It has two parts: central nervous system, peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system is again divided into brain and spinal cord. You are going to learn about brain and spinal cord in detail, and then brain, what you are going to learn: forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain. Okay children, and again in forebrain you are going to learn about olfactory nerves. You are going to learn cerebrum. You are going to learn cerebellum. Hindbrain you are going to learn pons, cerebellum, medulla oblongata. And peripheral nervous system you are going to learn voluntary nervous system, autonomic or involuntary nervous system. Under voluntary nervous system you are going to learn cranial and spinal nerves. So from brain it is the cranial nerves, from spinal cord it is the spinal nerves. 12 pairs of cranial nerves, 31 pairs of spinal nerves, together we call it as peripheral nervous system. And under involuntary or autonomic nervous system you are going to learn sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system. Okay children, so the classification is very simple: central nervous system, peripheral you are going to learn. Under central you are going to learn brain and spinal cord. Under peripheral you are going to learn voluntary nervous system, involuntary. Under voluntary you are going to learn cranial nerves and spinal nerves, and under involuntary sympathetic and parasympathetic. Okay children, so in the next video you are going to learn about this classification in detail. Okay children, thank you.